And if you want, it's just if you want to turn off your heater for the thing.
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. I don't sound too bad, do I?
No.
Sounds good.
Yes, everything sounds pretty crisp right now. Here we go. All right, we're going to have to trim all that in the beginning. That's
What?
okay, though.
It's on right now?
Oh, yeah, we're recording.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I hit that rec button. The first thing you did was, like, chat about my heater. I was like, okay. That's where we're at today. I like it. Cheers.
Cheers. And let's roll, guys.
All right, here we go.
Spirit of Cajun, feeling right. Turning up this podcast night. Dance to the rhythm, let it flow. Here comes the ripple effect, let's go.
Welcome to the Ripple Effect.
What's up, everybody?
Howdy, howdy.
I changed that up a little bit.
What's that?
I changed that up a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Caught me off guard.
We're good?
It's all good.
Yeah.
Raymond,
We have things
back
to
for
discuss
round
today.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't scare me off. Let's go for another round.
Yeah, man.
What's on your mind? I heard you were interested in AI.
Yeah. Look, I wanted you to come back. Well, obviously, you're interested in AI because you're taking some classes right now, right? But yeah, I am absolutely, curious about AI. It's everywhere now. You know what I mean? But
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think there's like a little bit of a misconception, right? Even when it first, when we first started talking about it, like Noah had to tell me, he's like, well, it's not really artificial intelligence.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's
You know what I
close.
mean? But it's something that's growing, right? And it's this, how do you refer to it?
Large language model.
Yes.
LLM.
Right.
And so
Machine
what I
learning.
wanted was just for somebody to come and kind of explain that, right? For,
Perfect.
a layman like myself.
And this
you
is
know what I
perfect
mean?
because Raymond is literally in instruction.
Wow, I didn't bring my cheat sheet for notes.
That's all right, bud.
From the 5,000 foot view, the computing power and the ability to program algorithms to be able to take in information and then sift it through and identify a large part of what this machine learning and AI that people are seeing right now is about predicting the next word, predicting the next phrase. And so when you type into ChatGPT or whatever that AI engine is, you're asking it a question. It's predicting what it is you're looking for. It's looked at other people who have asked these similar questions, and it's predicting you're looking for something on, aardvarks of Australia. or
Pizza
something.
in Brighton, Colorado.
Right.
Or whatever.
Right. And so it comes up with what it thinks are the best matches. It's sort of, if you think of Google and how we've grown up with it,
Yeah.
it's like Google on steroids. It's been informed by millions of points of data. And now even Elon Musk and other AI engines, they need to feed that engine. They need to give it data. And they have consumed all they can. They're actually now starting to produce synthetic data.
Oh my God! Please,
Which is what?
Dive into
Yeah,
that
I'm
rabbit
sorry.
hole.
Tell me.
Please
No,
go
Please
there.
tell me.
Go in all the way. I want to hear about all that.
Well,
Synthetic data.
Synthetic data. Well, if
Yeah.
you've consumed all the works of the Greeks,
Of
and
course.
we've consumed all this human knowledge, and there goes our Tesla bot.
He's all right.
Get up. What are you doing?
But then, what do you do once you've consumed all the knowledge that you can feed your model? Well, Elon and others are needing to produce data so that they can further refine their data models. These large language models, you have to operate. The more data they have, the more accurate they can be.
Yeah.
And so now they're starting to produce synthetic data, which isn't it wasn't human generated. And what that looks like and what that bodes for the future, it's a good time to roll your eyes and say, gee, I wonder what's going to happen next.
Can you dive into what that synthetic data is?
I cannot.
You don't. Okay.
I don't know that. I've not gone in that deep to
Yeah.
it.
No, I figured. I don't know if anybody knows what. that data is.
So like, I don't know, go back. I'm going back because I'm thinking.
Where are you going?
But like, what do they do? So it's just so when they're creating these learning models, right? What do? They download every book you have in the world.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I
Every
imagine. Like when I
newspaper.
imagine they just go through and they feed this thing every bit of information from the dawn of information, right?
Yeah.
And then as it grows and then as people ask questions and it evolves, is that a pretty
It's-
accurate
It is
depiction of how it
constantly-
starts? And
yes, it is constantly evolving, but we're seeing a trend where, if you're in literature, well, there's a language model for literature. If you're in math or statistics, there's a language model, and so you go to
Right.
the tool that's more appropriate for the use.
Right.
And we're starting to see, the thing is, like the Fortune 500, they have money to spend.
Right.
They want to help their customer satisfaction, or they want to help with their predictions, and so then
Or they want to fire everybody.
and so they look at
There's that too.
they
Imagine
look at the
that.
data they have internally. They have, as an organization, documents. They have data, and so you can feed that language model all this information.
Yeah.
And then when you call in with customer service question, like, okay, do you need an address or what is it you need? And it starts predicting more and more accurately. I heard somebody the other day said, I had a great interaction with my bank.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, gee, I had a lousy interaction with my trash collection company. And both of them were using an AI engine, but one of them was more sophisticated. One of them was more able to answer those human questions, right? 'Cause
Right.
as a consumer, I'm calling in and I'm asking for help. And is that model within that organization been trained well enough to be able to answer my questions?
Right.
And that's sort of in the call center industry, we're seeing the front end of it, right? You put the AI on the front end to answer the most basic, easy questions that constantly
Right.
are occurring. So 20% of all calls can now be dispatched by an AI agent. You don't have to pay for that human capital to manage those questions. And then as time goes
It's
on,
24/7 too, by the way.
Right.
it never gets
yeah, it
tired.
never sleeps. It only gets smarter.
Yeah.
Like, this is scary.
Yeah.
Its
But
feelings
it's
do not get
exciting, but it's scary. It's like, this is what the movies, all the
These are
movies
the
that
movie-
don't end well for human beings, you know what I mean, starts here with this
I think we
this
need to pull it
learning
up.
model,
Yeah.
program, this software that just evolves. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like, the more so like go into that also, like when you talk about the tools that are suitable, it's like, I guess we could probably pull up
iRobot.
ChatGPT or Grok or whatever. And that's the thing. It's like, for someone who I'm not really tech savvy,
ready to see your brand?
but I have been going through them and using them, asking them questions. They really do. They do a lot. Like, they help you so much. I mean,
It's
you have-
getting better each time. And if you go into Facebook, they have their search engine. You go to
Right.
Microsoft, they have their Copilot search engine.
Right.
Right. And so these tools and, within LinkedIn, et cetera, all these, they're starting to silo their own AI tools. And they really,
Right.
it's a classic thing, right? There was a battle for the eyeballs in the search, right? There was that big, used to be Google versus Yahoo, Alta Vista, et cetera. And, who came on top? Well, it was Google.
Yeah.
And now these AI engines are fighting for our eyeballs and for our attention, wanting us to, say, this is my search engine of choice. This is my chat.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed like
Engine
the
choice.
pop-ups, the chat pop-ups? It's getting like a little weird.
yeah.
Like 4 pop-ups come up. Are you sure you don't need any help?
Right.
Well, I closed you
Yeah.
because I'm good.
But I mean, that's their game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like because for one, people maybe just, it's like, yeah, they pop up, we push them away. A lot of people push them away because it's a little intimidating. Like, well, how do I continue to use this thing? Or what is this? You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people, when they pop up, they don't even know that it's an AI learning, tool that could help you through. They think it's, another software app or something just running for that company. Like, it is. It's like, well, but the more people become accustomed to using them, you know what I mean? It's going to take on. The next decade is going to be a rocket launch, you know what I mean, for these.
All right. So let's take that next step. All right. So AI is born. When does it show up in this thing?
Oh, it's in there, right?
I know. I mean, it
that-
has to just be downloaded right in there.
I
right away,
imagine
right?
that when
but
they-
here's the thing is, right, this has got to be that endpoint. Right? It can't have all the processing. It's not that big. Right? So it's got to go to whose data center is it going to go to ask for the right answer for when you ask a question.
Well, it's going to be Grok. So, I mean, if it's hooked up to your internet in your home, then it's running on Grok.
Now, when do they turn red and try and kill you?
Whenever Elon's ready,
Get them all.
you know, when he hits the button, you know, or when they decide to hit the button. Maybe no one hits the button. Maybe they decide.
Oh my God.
Maybe they learn and they evolve. We've all seen the movies.
We've
guys.
seen the
We saw-
movies over.
What was iRobot about? What was their whole thing anyway? They, you know.
What?
But I mean, as far
right
as
here.
Terminator goes, that's the one I go to. You know, when
Oh, Skynet?
Skynet went online and it just evolves and then realizes like, you guys
Yeah.
are just.
Why didn't Elon just
useless.
call it Skynet?
Well, he did.
Skylink.
You know?
Starlink.
Starlink, Skynet, same thing.
Skynet, same thing.
But so yeah, I think that's the other thing is like, you know, for people to get accustomed to using these, you know, you're gonna have to realize like, it's not as intimidating as you think. And then utilizing the tools, right? So you going to what is this class? You say you're taking some classes on AI. Like,
yeah.
Can
Tell us about
we
the-
just expand on that?
tell us
I'm
about
just
these courses.
really curious about. So coming from your background, you already have a tech, you know, background. You know, you're in that industry, that field, so you feel comfortable with it. Where does this take off? Like, tell me, you go into this class. Where does it start? What is it? You know, what are you learning? What are you gonna get out of it? I guess, you know, is it certifications? Is it, you know, what is that?
Right. So there is a certification, but more than anything, it's to understand the underpinnings. How do you build a language model? How do you, rather than just depending on ChatGPT to get my answers, I can help form a model that I could build my own mini ChatGPT. Obviously, it wouldn't be as robust and dynamic and etc. I don't have billions of dollars of funding to build these things, but I can inform a call center bot to manage phone calls. I can, you know, for, you know, specific businesses, build specific solutions. And so with the knowledge that I'm gaining, I'm learning to program in Python and how to analyze data sets, how to visualize data sets, how to look for oddities, right? You know, it's a classic thing like, oh, I didn't know at 2 a.m. there was a spike in purchases on, you know, glass slippers or whatever. You know, the AI can really uncover patterns that us humans would overlook. And it's this whole search and this whole tool of AI and these search bots. You think about, it's becoming ubiquitous. I go to Amazon, I'm looking for something. Well, it's feeding me what it thinks I might be interested in next. Because I was looking for
Right.
a valve for a refrigerator. It's
A
going to try and
tablet or something.
Send me,
Yeah.
right, you know, it's, and, you know, the shopping sites or YouTube, right? Because I've looked at these, it is, that AI is there all the time. And it's really just becoming ubiquitous so that,
Right.
yeah, grandma can pick up her phone, ask a question, and it's no longer Google.
Yeah.
It's an AI, you know, tool that's helping deliver that answer.
So you're
Hopefully.
learning to somewhat kind of talk to this AI. Yeah, I know you
From
use,
the ground up.
right, from the ground up, so that you can help, obviously, people you do business with or your own business, and help make it more efficient. So when you're using AI, you're way more efficient in that, right? You get right to the point. I see.
And I also feel that, you know, in life, there's, you know, trends that we've seen, right? Ooh, I should have gotten on the Jeep revolution, or I should have gotten on mountain biking or snowboarding, right? You see these trends, and it's very obvious. AI is taking off. It's, you know, folks at
That is
OpenAI,
definitely going to be the next big thing.
Absolutely.
For sure. The social media thing, the .com, the social media thing, the AI thing.
How many people do you think have signed off for that Coursive? Have you seen that one where
No.
it's like, go away for 30 days and come back, and all it
Oh,
is
yeah,
is
yeah.
you sign up for this course. I almost did it. I was so curious, but I was like, I don't know, man. Like, but it's like, I know it wouldn't be useless, but it's this, they call, have you seen it on social media? I don't know if you, but it's Coursive, and what it is, and it goes through, and you're going to learn each of these AI apps and how to use this app and
Right.
this app. And they're all running on AI, but they all do something, right? Basically, the way they pitch it is this marketing pitch, you know. It's like, go away for 30 days, do this course, and you're going to do it for an hour a day or however much time you have.
Yeah.
And it's a learning, right? You're going to learn about. But again, it's just how much are you going to put in? I don't know. The more you pay, there's different, you know, monthly fees or whatever. but they want you to learn AI. And to me, I wonder how many people are like, oh, I'm going to learn this and I'm going to take over. It's like, I don't think that's how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you need a little bit more background. You need to have, like, what are you going to use it for?
That's good.
Like, what business are you? To me, that's the other thing. It's like, I see this AI and I was like, oh, this stuff is going to be great.
Can you imagine the companies that don't use it?
I know. They're going to get left in the dust.
They're going to get left.
So when you talk about you taking this class, that's what I envision is like, well, to be more efficient and how to use and navigate AI so that when you do use it is what you're saying is like you, like you say, you could talk to it. You could get right down to, hey, I need you to do this.
Yeah, you can get it to produce work.
And here, this is exactly what I need. Not just continue to ask it and it evolves. Because I know that when I'm asking it 30 questions to get to the answer I need, you're going to be like, no, I'm going to skip all these 30 questions. Like, this is exactly what I need. Can we go here? Even my wife the other day is like, dude, you should take some, she's like, I keep talking about how I'm in my mid-40s and like all these great entrepreneurs were kind of in their 40s and 50s, like Ford, and there's just a dozens of people when you look out throughout history, Westinghouse, all of them, Morgan.
Now that you're old enough,
well, they're like they didn't become rich and really hit their stride and figure out like this is exactly what I need to, or want to do, or maybe it's just like that light bulb goes off, and I'm always like, man, computers, I just never learned computers. She's like, dude, you could absolutely go online, start doing some courses, learn a little bit of coding, whether you want to code or not. Just so that you understand what coding is. Because the other day I was like, fucking Noah comes down here and just starts writing code. I'm like, I have no idea what it even means. She's like, he's talking. He's like generating something. I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about either. Yeah. And for her, she's not formally trained in that stuff either, but she's worked around enough coders and developers throughout the year that she can get in there and figure things out too, But she's like, dude, you could absolutely, it's never too late. Because I have this question, about so when you're talking about Python, like I know that Python's a form of, coding, just like Java and, stuff like that. But
I could probably teach a very basic course on code.
Right.
Right. If conditions, variables, global variables, like simple things that I didn't know about in college. And I got a D in C++ coding.
Right.
Right. I was like, just give me the manual of where all the variables are. And my instructor's like, but what are you talking about? And I was like, I clearly was not mature enough to understand code, right? But I got into my late 20s and I was like, oh, I get it.
Right.
I get it. There's certain things you can do.
Right.
Evaluate variables, change them, trigger a function.
Because it's like, I get it that AI is there, but without some background and knowledge in something else, like for you, what you're in your industry and your, line of work, coding and you're learning some more Python and things like that you're going to incorporate and use AI to help you with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know that there are other industries that, like you said, if they're not utilizing AI moving forward, they're going to get left behind.
I used ChatGPT. I brought this up before, but I used ChatGPT back and forth to build an interface that worked in Google Sheets. I was never going to be able to do that.
Right.
Ever. I mean, I could have done it, but it would have taken 8 times longer than what it took.
And that's what it is. Knowing the questions, utilizing tools that AI, that these, that they offer, you know what I mean? Like when I look at Grok, I'm like, I know there's more tools. I know there's more to it.
Yeah.
But I am just, I'm such a baby in the game at this that when I use these things, I'm like, man, it's like I'm Googling things again, but I know that it's so much smarter and more powerful, just from the answers it generates. You're like, wow, that thing just gave me. I mean, sometimes I ask it about the past and historical things, you know, that I thought I knew, and it gives me just so much more information. So then that's what led me to believe, it's like, well, I guess they've downloaded every book in history into this thing, and that's where it compiles all, and it takes everything and puts it together.
Yeah.
So moving forward, where do you, so with this class, again, I was asking, so it's going to teach you how to obviously be more efficient and use this AI. What, moving forward, what types of things are you going to use it for?
Certainly here at MyCallCloud, I want to build agents, right? Help these small business owners manage 20% of the, and a lot of times that 20% of frontline phone calls, they're unwanted. They consume a lot of energy.
Wrong
like
number.
You guys were saying, and like, the AI, those AI agents, their feelings are not going to get hurt, right? If it's a rough gig being a call center agent. You're
is.
getting abused every single phone call. People are yelling at you, cussing at you.
Yeah.
The AI engine doesn't care. It'll just go back. Hey, I'm looking to get a right party contact. Is this so and so?
Yeah.
And then if that, certain conditions are met, and we just set up a program with boundaries, and you set the parameters, and you set it forth, and off it goes, making those phone calls and helping identify the right party contact. And now we need to speak with you, please. And we transfer it off to a live agent. You keep the senior agents who are good, and then they manage that call to completion.
I have a question for you guys. If that's the case, right? If people are just swearing at the AI and the AI is like, I'm sorry, I'm looking for this person, are people going to stop cussing at people on the phone? Because it's not going to make no difference.
What's funny is when I
Yeah.
talk to it, I try to be polite and say please and thank you,
Right.
like as if it makes a difference. It's so funny.
It's going to put you on the
Would
good
you
list.
give me
Please,
this
am I
answer?
gonna get a better answer?
Your social credit score is going up.
Yeah. My AI credit score continues to go up because I'm like, they're like, that guy's really polite. Yeah, take Gene's. Yeah,
Yeah.
do his. It's so funny. So I'm gonna ask you something too. You guys are both, and Noah and I talked about. I was like, coming up as a kid, like you guys love this, tech stuff, and you know what I mean. But like, did you ever imagine something like this? Could you have saw this evolution of technology in your lifetime? Coming from, I'm thinking like, think back as a kid where they introduced computers, and we're all like, wow, man.
Dude, we didn't have cell phones.
I know we had one computer at my school, and it was like, holy shit, it was a Mac or something. When they
dial-up
first
modem.
came up, and it was just this,
I would venture to say I would, but I grew up reading a lot of science fiction. When I
Right.
had free time in high school, my free reading was science fiction. And so, Arthur C. Clarke and Asimov. Asimov, I, Robot, that movie with Will Smith, that was based on Asimov. He said there will be these laws of robotics to keep humanity safe. And so from my, as a very young child, I've been watching science fiction movies and whatnot. And there's a general trend that the computers are going to get smarter and eventually relieve us of the mundane tasks like the Jetsons.
right.
Yeah.
But then the science fiction always does the spin, right? Then the technology gets out of control.
Right.
And it's a real concern. I mean,
I
right?
mean, let's just hope that science fiction is not life. It does not mimic life. In this,
Oh,
in
art
this-
imitates life,
yeah, we
life
don't-
imitates art.
We don't need that one. Not this time.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, dude, again, I think when I think about the AI also, and like, could it do that? It's like, yeah, if some human, programs something in there and puts it in there and makes it believe that, or makes it jaded in some way, because I mean, that's it. Look at like when Gemini came out. It was biased. It was racially biased.
It came
was
out with a
historically,
bias.
and
Like, how
it's
would
like,
they
why would
not-
you do that? That's my other thing was like, when they're like, oh, AI cannot be manipulated and it's going to be truthful. It's like, yeah,
You didn't think
I
people were
guess.
going to pressure test that?
Yeah, I know. Like, what are you guys thinking?
Come on.
Why would they do that? But it was a very biased and racially biased,
It was weird.
program that was running. I mean, since then they say that they've rectified those issues. I don't know. Maybe
I don't
for
know.
how long?
I don't know.
Until Trump's out of office, then we go back. You know what I mean? It's this weird political,
Go back to-
politics, and it's always dumb people,
Right.
with too much control. And I'm looking at Chat GPT. How fast is that growing? It's growing so fast and becoming so powerful, not just in like, from tech terms, like in an AI sense, but like also like they have a lot of influence, right? People are reaching out to this guy. Like he wasn't taking a salary at first, and then now,
Elon?
no, the guy who started a
Oh, Chat
GPT. What's his name?
it's not Sam.
Sam. Yes. No,
Altman?
Sam.
No, the
Yeah.
the other
Yeah,
Sam
guy?
Altman.
Yeah.
Altman, not
Yeah.
Bankman.
Yeah,
right?
not Bankman Fried.
Not
Yeah.
Freed, right? But that guy, how much control is he gonna have?
Sam Altman.
That guy's got his finger on the trigger,
Big time.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
I don't know much about him, but I know just like that, he became one of the most powerful people in the world, because they're going to use Chat GPT for a multitude of things. You know what I mean?
OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a nonprofit organization. The company's mission was to make AI safe and accessible to the public. And OpenAI became for-profit in 2019.
Yeah.
So I don't
but
know.
now, but he wasn't always
Just
taking
over
a
4
salary,
years. Yeah.
and then he started to, and it's some exponential amount. Which, fine. They
Sure.
put so much into it. He's
Right.
dumped his whole life into it.
Oh, they're making millions.
But
a day.
they started off and they circumvented like regulations and all kind of stuff based on the fact that they were nonprofit. You see, that's the catch, right?
Yeah.
So what's the long game with that guy? You started off and you
Yeah.
seemed like you were doing it for the greater good of mankind, but you always had the intention
Of going
of
profitable.
going profitable. So you start out like, hey, we want to do this for the better good of the mankind, bro. And then once you got your claws in everybody, now where are we going? Is this a runaway train?
You have
soon?
to subscribe or you don't
know,
get ChatGPT.
I mean, I
Yeah.
signed up for it months before it came out. What was funny, I told Vicky about it, and she's like, wasn't even hearing me. I was like, this AI thing's coming out. I signed up, 6-8 months, and then it comes out and it just crashing on the first few days. Right? There's just so many people, and so I started using it. What's this? Hey, there he is, watering the plants. Oh, dude, I was telling somebody at work, I was like, dude, I really want to get one, man. Like, he's like, what are you gonna use it for? I was like, dude,
We'll set it on the podcast.
whatever.
We'll talk to it.
I was like, bud, do you like folding clothes?
We're-
Nobody likes folding clothes, dude. That's money well spent if it just washes and folds the clothes, all right?
Yeah, that one thing.
Cleans the house. Are we serious right now?
Yeah,
Fucking 30 grand,
yeah.
And then I was like, it's going to constantly do software updates.
Evolve.
I was like, then I'm going to use it and fight it all the time so I'm ready for when they
Jiu-jitsu.
turn on me and stuff. I'm going to know. I'm going to like,
Tell me what your weak points
hey,
are.
what are your weak points? So it was so funny we were having this conversation. But yeah, I don't know. But this dude, Sam, I mean, yeah, he starts out nonprofit.
Yeah.
Like, where's he going? What's the long game for this guy? Because as soon as I realized that, I was like, well, and I've heard some discussion there, like, because they were nonprofit, you can get around some regulations, and they weren't
I didn't get
scrutinizing.
any of that angle. That is really interesting.
They were really not scrutinizing him at the time because it didn't seem like one day.
It wasn't real.
Yeah, it wasn't real. And then all of a sudden,
He's just doing it for the
he's on
greater good.
Capitol
It's
Hill, and they're
nonprofit.
like, what are you doing now? And the CIA is all up in his junk,
all of a sudden, oh yeah.
Like, where does that go? Where do you see that going? What do you think? What do you think about these guys who control AI? Like,
Well, just think about what they can do. Like, design me a thing. I need you to design me a thing that goes.
yeah.
Design
Well,
that.
did you see, like, there's kids who are getting arrested now because they're going on ChatGPT and they're like, how do I build a dirty bomb?
Oh my god.
And it's just spitting it out because,
Yeah.
And so there was some kids somewhere who just got into some trouble. You know what I mean? They were like, and they built a little dirty bomb. I'm not going to go into
God
what it takes to
dang
build
it.
a dirty bomb, but you can build a dirty bomb, whatever it is.
Yeah, we're not talking about. Yeah.
But it's weird to me that, like, but this is what it is. It's loose. It's out there. And if you ask the questions, it gives you the answers. I could ask it like, hey, I want to make a firecracker. How do I make a firecracker?
Sure.
M80.
Right.
What were the M80s made of? Can you give me that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make that bigger,
Sure.
And so, with great power comes great responsibility.
True.
Where do you see these
True.
things going? How do you feel about these people who control these companies, these AI companies?
That's a great question. I think that there's a lot of people with altruistic values and they want
Right.
to put guardrails, and it's been in the news a lot, right? Put guardrails on the AI so it doesn't, go off the rails and make its own decisions. And I think there's a lot of people that have good intentions, and more or less there are some guardrails for safety. And, because it hits the news and, there's a problem with that. And so people get up in arms and,
Yeah.
Microsoft pulls their, AI bot off for a few days until they can rectify it, a few weeks. But I think more concerning is it's becoming easier and easier to build your own LLM, your own chatbot, your own AI tool.
Your interface to
And there's
something.
people outside the U.S. that, do not have the same regulations and the same values to, maintain, because they want to open it up. They want to make more money, or they want to have, achieve whatever their goals are. And those guardrails, those safety bumpers, as you will, don't exist in some places. And that's very scary.
Did you guys hear this theory that once AI takes over, it's going to drive the cost of producing things so far down that it's going to collapse the economy? Have you seen this take?
I have not.
No.
I don't imagine.
I find it to be interesting. I don't know if, I don't really believe that take. Because you have to get the technology in order to do that. There's a cost associated with that, right? So I don't know.
But eventually, you will be able to have bots that can train other bots, and you can, build and maintain and manage. And so the cost of production very well could go down.
Probably.
But, like with the Industrial Revolution, everyone's up in arms. Well, I'm going to lose my job. I'm a farmer. Well, no, you just, things pivot, things change.
Right.
And, it's hard to say because there's going to be a lot of disruption.
It is hard to say. I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We all have this idea of what it could be.
Yeah, and everyone's got a different idea. 'Cause
Everybody's
we're
got
all
a
at
different idea.
levels of
Crazy.
Yeah,
Rabbit
we're
hole.
all at different levels of like.
Are we living in
conspiracy
iRobot?
theories?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I go back and forth. Some days I'm thinking like.
I mean, the
oh,
only thing that's different is the color of his face.
Yeah.
Right? On iRobot?
Yeah, they're basically the same.
They're basically the
I mean,
same.
I'm sure that was his intention.
Well,
That's
yeah,
my
probably.
thing about Elon. It's like one day
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that he's a great guy. The next day I'm thinking like, man,
Oh my God, this guy.
when is he gonna lose his shit?
Right.
And just completely flip out. Like, who's gonna push him over the edge? I guess nobody. I guess if it was gonna happen, it would happen by now. But, oh yeah, look, they were like, that's what he used to do. Put like this screen, and he used to have a screen on the front,
Yeah.
like have like LED screen,
Here they are, man.
and it can
Look,
make any face you want.
Look at this shit. It's the only difference is the color of their face. Where was I? Where the heck was I? Oh my God. You guys, I thought I was on the right page.
Right here.
Click here. Columbia. There, right here. There it is.
Yeah, I mean,
This is the only difference. Look.
I think you go no facial features, flat LED screen, and I'm like, hey, I want it to be.
I mean, even the coloring is similar. This while here. You hold that thing.
Yeah.
Or hold it up right here.
The Tesla bot.
And that's the iRobot.
Yeah, compared.
I mean, they're basically the same.
Basically the same.
But I don't know. Again, I'm curious about how fast it all happens. I mean, what are the next 10 years going to look like? What's the next decade look like? Do people lose their jobs? Because call centers are huge, man. Look
know.
all around the world, like the Philippines, India. You know what I mean? Like
Mississippi.
Mississippi,
Ohio.
everywhere.
South
You know what
Dakota.
I mean? So
Indiana.
what happens when now you have a whole industry that gets impacted by, these call bots,
These
right?
AI bots,
This
yeah.
new AI bot. And I mean, it does, and again, it could do a lot. In some ways, though, it'll help a lot of companies. It could put other companies out of business. I mean, I've talked about it with even like the trades industry. It used to be you'd spend so much time going out, chasing down leads. You'd have to do bids, you know what I mean? And
Right.
you do 5 bids and maybe get 1 job off of it, and you got to go out there. You have to measure. You have to take pictures. You know what I mean? It's a
a
hustle.
lot of work.
It's a lot of work,
Yeah.
right? And I do bids. Sometimes I'll do free estimates. You know what I mean? Just so that I'd hope that I'd get the job. Whereas now you can use these AI bidding tools, right? These apps that are using AI, and then you can use Google Earth. They're plugged in. They'll use whoever. You can go in. So, like, say a roofing company now, I can go out. I could bid a whole roofing job because it'll do Google Earth. It'll square out that roof. It'll tell me all, and then it's AI. So you plug in that address. It'll spit out everything you need all through these AI bots. This learn AI, and it gets better every year. It's going to be the same thing with drywall. Yeah. I was looking at this app the other day that it's using AI. You'll go through and you'll just walk through and you'll take a video of everything on your phone, right? And it'll measure everything. And then you'll go in and you say, I'm going to do the hanging, the finishing, and the painting, right? And then you'll tell it what materials you're going to use, like what brand material you're going to use. So whether it's a USG product, I'm going to use this drywall, and it'll spit out everything you need, how much material you need, labor, what it thinks you're going to use, how much tape. You'll say, I want a level 3 finish. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal that you can do this. You know what I mean? But what's that going to do? That's going to take a lot of businesses who aren't using that, and it's going to put them out of business because
Absolutely. They can't
I can
be
spit out
competitive.
what used to take a week.
I can do in 30 minutes.
I'll walk through,
Yeah.
and then when it sends it to them, I mean, look, it's a beautiful
professional.
estimate. Like
Yeah.
it sends it to you with a cover letter. It's everything. It's all sewed up. I mean, dude, it's that's an awesome thing. But if you're not utilizing this,
Right.
you know what I mean?
And there's a
moving
price to
forward-
that though too, right?
Oh yeah, they're not cheap.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. You could pay per estimate, or you could pay, you know, for some of these companies, depending on how many bids you're going to do a month, you know, you pay a couple $100, right, for like an entry level style,
Monthly.
you know, for a monthly thing. Yeah, you'll do this monthly subscription, you get up to like how you know, so many estimates, you know.
Yeah.
Even like asphalt. I was looking at this asphalt business. I was like, dude, you can use Google Earth. It'll go through. You show it. What are you gonna do, dude? It'll take that whole parking lot, break it down. How much material? This is what kind of material I want to use.
Demo, removal. Yeah.
Spits it out, and then it'll just shoot it out. And then you can use this same app once you're paying the subscription. You can use it for call bots. So like, I'll do an app, and then I'll say the next morning it'll follow up with a text message. Hey, you know, did you receive the app?
Oh my
the
God.
estimate? I
Yeah.
mean, look. What used to take, I think we talked about it. I was
Yeah.
like, you know, what used to take a office full of people,
3 or 4 people.
right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to have, you know, your secretary or whoever, like, you know, they were following up on this. They were, you know, you had an estimator. You know, to run a big construction company, you need like 3 or 4 estimators.
Yeah.
You know,
And those are not like junior people. They are experienced.
Those
you
are
are replacing experienced.
6-figure incomes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, what is this going to do to multiple industries moving forward? Not just tech industries,
There's
not
going
just coding.
to be disruption, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And it's really interesting.
Well, it's already
because-
starting too, right?
Oh yeah.
And we've kind of seen it for sure. Not really disruption, but people are at that testing phase, right? They're getting through the project testing. They're getting through the small projects, the small campaigns, the small. Hey, we're going to test a couple 100,000 phone calls through this thing and measure. You know, how did it do? What was our cost structure? And then I can see people going like, we're going to replace AT&T's call center in Puerto Rico with all AI bots.
Yeah.
But that's a few years out.
Right. It's a few years out.
Yeah.
But when it hits,
It's going to be pretty
it's going
close
to impact
Yeah.
thousands of people, you know,
It is.
monthly.
Yeah.
Like when the first domino falls, they're just going to continue to fall. And it's when people catch on, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that even now, like if I'm thinking this, like, oh, you could go out, because I was thinking that a while back, like, oh, try to help out these smaller, you know, subcontracting businesses. Like, hey, check it out. You shoot me addresses that you want to do bids on.
Yeah.
I'll get them worked up. I'll send that out. You know what I mean? If it hits, you know, I'll take this percentage on that
Yeah,
job. You know what
10%
I
or
mean?
whatever.
10%, 12%, whatever it is. You don't even have to do the bid. I'll make sure. We'll review the bid. But look, here's what I'm doing. You don't tell them what you're doing. Like I was like, I'm not gonna tell them that I'm using this AI
Yeah.
and these software.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
But it's like, hey, look, I already have guys out in the area. We're already doing estimates for other companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you're utilizing that, you could turn around and just, you know, start helping companies. And you don't even have to be in that state. You could do it in all 50 states.
Yeah.
You could sit right here in this basement and start running
And run an
leads and
empire.
estimates.
Yeah.
And putting out, you know,
nationwide.
you and a couple buddies sitting down here could do a couple dozen estimates a day.
Yeah.
Just going to Google Earth, locking that in. Now, of course, you couldn't do interior bids and drywall bids and stuff, but I'm just saying roofing, drywall, concrete, you know, there's a lot of things you could do, you know,
There
and
is.
send out some pretty accurate estimates and get a lot of leads for people. You know what I mean? And then you're taking the place of, you know, again, it's just
3 or
crazy. to
4
me.
human
Think
beings.
about if I can
For
think
every
about-
roofing company in the country.
Right. So if I'm thinking
Yeah.
that, there's some other company thinking that already, and they're
Absolutely.
getting in a position, and they're going to do that soon.
They are.
You know what I mean? Like again,
Yeah.
if I could think it, somebody's doing it.
Somebody's doing it.
Absolutely.
If my little brain can think this, then I know that somebody out there is like, yo, this is what we're going to do. And so I think about that. I think about soon they're going to offer these services, and a lot of people are going to be like, man,
I mean,
how cool is that? And they don't even realize you could download an app,
Yeah.
and you could do it too.
do you know how many people work at Puerto Rico's T-Mobile's call center?
Oh, dude, I can't imagine.
It's 2,200 people.
Mhm.
Or it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to need a half, quarter
Maybe.
of that?
I mean,
Quarter.
of them.
Quarter of them that just cannot get through the AI bot, right? And you just need that human touch. Can't understand, there's a communication problem, whatever it is, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
a lot.
coming.
That's a lot
And
of
it's
people.
coming
Yeah,
fast.
So what are those people going to do? I guess that's what I wanted to get to. What's the next step for them?
I don't know. You know, that was my other thing. It's like,
Retrain.
you know, you guys are smart.
Yeah.
You know, we all have some compassion and humanity in us, right? I know it's going to affect a lot of people. And I know that these politicians, because we're talking about, everybody starts out good, right? The road to hell was paved with good intentions.
Sure.
Okay? So all these powerful people. I look at Bill Gates. I used to think he was the smartest, nicest guy ever. And
Yeah.
now I'm looking at him thinking, like, what a turd bag he is. You know, if he has his way, we won't be eating
We
real
won't be
meat.
around.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? To him, vaccinations and lab-grown meat. And it's like, dude, you are so out of shape.
He's invested.
And just
He's invested in
like,
the mosquito
it's like, dude,
distribution.
stay in your
Yeah.
lane, you know. But I look at people like that, and to him, he loves this automation. He loves this AI. But where's his humanity? Is he going to take care of the people? Because he's like, it's going to make it easier for everybody. We're going to have universal income. Well, if they control universal income, then that means not a whole lot of income for anybody.
Right.
You know, you already want to. And then what, are you going to subsidize our food, you know, through lab-grown food that you make a profit off of?
Right.
What a great, you know, deal for you.
Do you think he's going to use AI in his greenhouses?
Absolutely. He's not going to have people in there. There's going to
No.
be machines everywhere.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, what happens to humanity?
Yeah.
You know? Because he wants to decrease population. Somebody asked my neighbor the other day, Jesse's like, why does Elon think that, you know, we need more people? And I was like, well, there's a decline. You know, like every year we're having a decline in population. Like we're you know, we're having less and less children. He goes, well, why isn't that a bad thing? Because like Bill Gates says that we need a decrease of population.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into it, but I was
Sure.
like, well, I mean, I don't know. Just, I guess Elon's worried about the decrease in population, but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with people about how, like, well, of course it benefits like the elites, right? They don't want to support less people to support.
Yeah.
You're gonna make everything more efficient. We're
Cutting
gonna
their
bring
costs.
in AI. We're
Cut
gonna
their
cut
costs.
the. Hey, trim the fat, trim the humans, right? But am I wrong? I don't know. I didn't want to say that out loud because that's such a doom and gloom type thing.
Yeah.
But what do we do? That's got to be the only answer. Once AI takes care of all its other stuff for them,
Yeah.
you don't need a whole lot of us.
Yeah. It's true.
So what happens?
Yeah, that's a great question, right?
Like, what do you
I
think?
started to allude to that with the Industrial Revolution, right? Farmers became factory workers. You know,
Yeah.
the nature of work changes, so therefore there'll be more programmers. Therefore, there'll be more people needed to, you know, help program these robots. There'll be more people that are needed to help, you know, supply the industry that is feeding the robots and the AI, et cetera.
I think
But
there's
I don't
like-
know. What does
yeah.
that look like? I mean, it seems like there's going to be a big disparity. There's going to be a big portion of the workforce that's going to be displaced. Right?
You know, as a technology provider, I'm excited about it because I think we're well positioned to move right into that space and connect to the LLMs in an audio way and and just bring that to our market. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, how many people are not going to have
Right.
jobs?
Because I get it. I get what you're saying. It's an exciting, the prospect of all of this, right? This evolution in technology and everything. It is. It's exciting. But when you talk about, well, look, the factory workers transitioned in, you know, our farmers transitioned to factory workers, but that was never their intention. They didn't want that. You know what I mean? And I get that tractors and, you know what I mean? And you know, things like that made it easier and it made it.
Yeah.
But then soon the government came in and regulated everything and then pushed all of our our farming, and now we get everything from overseas. You know, now we don't have, now there's a
Yeah.
war on our farmers.
Yeah.
So, you know, soon it's like, yeah, I get it. We'll still need people to code, but then soon AI will do that too. We'll just build big, you know, factories that are just computing factories, right? And just nothing but hardware and software running all the time, and you know what I mean? And then what happens? You only need enough. You need enough people just to maintain that. You know, we become maintenance workers, and then we become what, the
Yeah.
Matrix? What are we in pods?
But that's what I was thinking. Like,
it's-
The
I think the
artisan
job-
class rises, with the
Like-
poets and the.
Well, I guess that's what we
The
would. Well,
artists
that's what we would
rise.
love to believe, but you know, again, that would be the 1%. You know, 2%, 3%. They don't need a ton of them.
Yeah.
You know, they can only take so many of those too.
just
you
a
know
few
what I mean?
jesters.
Right, like you
Yeah.
just need a few, and I'm like, man, what does it look like in 100 years?
I know.
You know, so I'm thinking a decade, then 2 decades, but in 100 years, what does it look like? Does it get better or does it get worse? Does this help humanity, or does it, you know, does it push us further away from humanity, or just that, you know, being humans?
Oh, here they are.
Being nice to people. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh, the human interaction, right?
Right. Because we don't have that anymore. What do we turn into that? Remember, Bruce Willis, that movie Surrogates, where you're just laying down in the house all day in this program, dreaming while your bot goes out and lives life. It's like, man,
Yeah, that's wild.
you know, how far are we away from that?
I don't know.
Where bots go out and interact.
I mean, when these things are walking around, I'm sure you can do. They're going to have like cast personality cast. You put your goggles on and be
That
like,
exactly.
"Hey, I'm Noah," and this is the thing, right? Hey, I'm here for some apples.
So where does your science fiction mind take you? Like what you know, like, because you just said it. Well, we become poets, and you have time to all of a sudden focus on, you know,
Go
the
sailing.
better things in life, right? Like just really beautiful things. Like to me, I would like, oh, if I had my way, I'd just cook all day. You
Sure.
know? Like I would create phenomenal meals for people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like if I could do something, I love that. I'd go out,
Yeah.
you know, round up the best
fun.
ingredients.
For
Yeah,
fun.
for fun. Like
Yeah.
if I didn't have to work,
For funsies.
and you're like, what do you want to do? And like, dude, I want to cook. I want to raise some animals. I want to grow a garden. I want to produce my own spices and herbs and hang out and cook and probably make some wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just enjoy. That would be my perfect life if I'm being completely honest. I wouldn't even have to hunt. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
how about the podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
And
Right.
talk about, you know what I mean, my food that I cooked
Yeah,
that day
yeah,
and everybody
absolutely.
else. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, talking. That's what I would, while we're cooking, we would run a podcast.
Just
That's what I
talk.
want to do now.
Just
I was
talk.
like, I've been talking about, I was like, man, I'd like to transition into like sit down, cook a meal and invite people
When
over.
is the AI going to cook your meal?
You know, hopefully never.
It's coming.
Hopefully never.
That's coming.
Yeah, I still need that human touch.
Yeah, you do.
How's it going to know?
It's gonna know.
It's going to know.
It's going to know.
It's going to know.
It's going to know.
What does your mind though? What does your science fiction mind tell you? Like what was that perfect utopia be moving forward?
You know, that's a great question. As an optimist, I would hope that, you know, humanity improves, right? There's a classification of civilizations, right? And we are still very low on that classification of civilizations.
I agree.
In an ideal world, we would take this
Yeah.
knowledge and ability, and then we would expand our ability to expand beyond our own solar system and expand and
Except that asteroid's going to hit us. Bam!
Yeah, the reset's coming.
It's coming.
You know, and
Like it
you
or
got
not.
all
Again.
these folks in call centers that are
Yeah.
working to pay rent and put, you know, diapers on their babies and put food on the table. And what are they going to be doing? That's you know, a lot of those folks have high school degrees, and what are they going to
They're going
transition
to need to
to?
retool. Yeah. Hey, I wanted you to shout out to Blind IT, MyCast. Do you want to just shout it out? What's going on in the next? We have an event on February 1st, right?
Right, February 1st, right. The Blind Institute of Technology has their annual fundraiser. It's a masquerade ball, and, you know, it's a nonprofit organization that helps. Their mission is to employ 10,000 blind individuals into professional jobs, right?
Oh, that's
So-
beautiful.
We custom tailored our software for blind people.
Oh man.
It didn't take that long. It wasn't that hard. So there was, and then we gave a speech on it because they're like, "Hey, would you give a talk on this because people are so resistant because of all the retooling they have to do in their software?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think we just need to play little notifications in the website where the agents are when they, you know, activate those elements. It'll play a little something. You're here. You're at name or whatever. You know, you are logged in."
Really?
Yeah.
Some minor modifications to
Minor.
existing code.
Yeah.
But they have tools, right? They have tools that listen to, and this is the subject of our next podcast,
Yeah, the script. You're talking about the script reader or the
right? The script builder.
script
Yeah,
builder, and then the script stuff for blind people can actually read what's on the screen reader.
And then it's just all voice, so
Yeah.
obviously like audio.
So like you can actually, in some cases, you can put the audio from the screen reader in your left ear and the audio from whoever you're talking to on the phone on your other
Oh,
ear.
nice.
And then they can actually discern back and forth. Like your brain can actually
Well, I'm sure, especially be like
Manage that.
lack of vision. If you're blind, I'm sure your other senses
Everything is
just
sense.
adapt. You know.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend. His mom, she's gone blind throughout the years, and yeah, she's, you know, kept. I don't know exactly what she does for employment, but I know, you know, she's learned to navigate throughout time. She
Yeah.
has all these tools in her house. You know what I mean? She's still active on the computer. Through, you know what I mean? I always thought like, man, how do they evolve? You know what I mean?
know.
Like, so it makes sense. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys going to the ball?
I mean, probably if I'm in town,
Nice.
I'm going.
February 1st.
Absolutely.
Sure. I asked Nicole, and she's like, "Sure, we'll go as long as we don't have any, anything else coming up. We might. We're busy."
We've always had a good time there, and It's for a great cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really great cause. Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
It's fun.
I know you guys are-
Anything else you want to bring up on AI, this topic, this time around?
No, we're good. Let's save it for next time.
Save it for next time. I like these shorts.
Yeah,
on
man.
Tuesday.
It's always fun.
These are good.
I like getting down here again. Keeps us, the more you get down here, we have to stay. It keeps me a little more fluid, So like when there's gaps in between, it's
No rust.
Yeah,
The rust is gone.
Try not to cuss, man. I only cussed once today.
Oh,
I
did
get
you catch it?
excited.
You
I get
you catch it.
excited.
You do get excited.
I get excited. I love this, you know what I mean? It's funny, I get down here and it's like, oh, I know I'll have more questions, So
Yeah.
next time I'll look back over this content and, something else will pop up.
All right, guys.
I may be asking you for some, some
Yeah, I
pointers here in the future. Yeah. Like, where should I go? All right, guys. That was
Happy
fun.
to.
Thank you. Mr. Raymond, it's always a pleasure.
Cheers, guys.
Till next time, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Later.